Retail data model is going to look like, a basic retail data model. So we are going to build that in today's session. First, we'll have to understand the architecture, only then we can start building it. I mean, a logical model and a physical model. So let us look at it logically, how we can build this, and then we will go ahead and build the physical model using the ETL tool. I mean, there are dimensional tools also, but why I say ETL tool is, finally, we will be building this data mart using our ETL tool. So, why do we need a data warehouse? That is the first important question I have put to everyone. Like here, when you look at this particular one, like why do you need a single family home was being answered. Because you have more than one person coming into, coming and living with you, you need a data warehouse, you need a single family home. In the same way, we have to understand why do we need a data warehouse? Here is the question for you, and you are the one who will declare whether you really require a data warehouse or not. Why does companies invest millions to build a data warehouse? There is a small difference between an enterprise data warehouse and a data warehouse, which we will look at it in few minutes. So I spoke to several business users, pre-sales, sales, marketing, and HR folks to get this question answered. Why do you invest a lot in your data warehouse? We have mountains of data in the company, but we can't access it. That's what the HR team says. I have 10 locations that I'm running my business, and I have 20 people sitting at each location. I can't access their data, when they joined the company, how much is their payroll, how much perks they are getting. I don't have any track of it. So I have mountains of data in the company, but I can't access it. We need to slice and dice that data every which way, marketing team says. Because the marketing team will not be interested in the entire organizational data. They will see which place is lagging that I can go and market. I can go and sell my product because it is not getting sold in that particular area. What is the reason? If you are like a milk vendor, you'd see milk is getting sold more in San Rafael than anywhere. You'd go and put a question mark and ask, why is it getting sold more in San Rafael? What is it? Because there are no other brands that can compete you. How about in San Francisco? Why is my brand really lagging? Why am I selling only 10 gallons of milk every day when there are a million people living in San Francisco? So the marketing team needs to slice the data to understand. You have got to make it easy for business people to get the data directly. So let us say a vice president wants a report. He wanted to see how the marketing team is performing, its operations, where are the campaignings being led, or let us say I went for a promotion. I want to sell my soap. I have bought Aishwarya Rai into picture to advertise for my soap. I have invested $2 million to shoot that advertisement and promote it. Now I wanted to access the data directly and see how much the sales has increased after getting Aishwarya Rai for my advertisement. That is what is important for me. But the business people say they don't have access to the data directly. Just show me what is important. The sales manager says, I don't want all this dirty data, whatever you are saying, that door to door you went, sold, requested customers to buy, how much credit you gave. I don't want all that. Give me the important data. The dollar amount is important for the sales manager, nothing else. If you are asked to meet the your turnover, the dollar amount, you'd see, I have to sell $1 million of products this month. I need the important data. That's what sales manager says. It drives me crazy to have two people present the same business metric in the meeting. Same business metric at a meeting in a different way. That is what it is, but with a different numbers. A VP says like this. Two sales managers came up there and say, sir, we had very good sales in Texas. We have already hit 2 billion turnover. and the other person says, sir, we have did real good business in California, not Texas. So what happened to my screen? I see only a green screen. 1 second, guys. Something went wrong. Still, are you able to see my screen, guys? No? Yes? All right?
Yes.
Okay. Something actually... Did you notice the green screen came up there?
Yes.
Okay. The green screen is the one which is which done the magic of graphics and films, guys. So amazingly, the green screen came even here. So I'm going to do a movie magic here. Let's see how it works. Let me put on back my presentation. It got hung here. Okay. So these are the questions that business has. Let us see how we can answer them. So we have one more question. We want people to use information to support more fact-based decision making. A CEO says this, which means, let us say you are into a business like the same business which we talk about, Priya Pickles. If you want to make an important decision saying, I want to sell each pickle bottle for $1, it is not just an overnight thing that you can do. You have to go and see how much stock is left over in your warehouse. How much is left over and how much is the actual demand. So let us say I have 1 ton of pickle, but I'm selling only half ton every month. And the pickle is going to expire by next month. Then he plays the trick. Okay, let me make the actual. Let me even out. If I don't have the profit even, I don't want the loss. So he will say, advertise saying, I will sell any pickle for $1. People go into market and buy those pickles and then use it. Instead of wasting and throwing it out, you want to make that kind of a decision to offer for the customers, then you need to have facts. You can't just assume that there is 1 ton of pickle and then start publishing that we would give pickles buy one, get one free. So a CEO says, I want a fact-based decision. Don't make dumb decisions thinking so there is a lot of inventory left over and you wanted to just sell them for half price. So those are the questions. Now we will see what are the goals of a data warehouse. First we had the questions. We talked to a marketing team. We talked to VP, CEO, HR. They told what is their problem. So we now determine the goals of data warehouse. Wow. I told goals of data warehouse and I show you some dollars here. The goal of data warehouse is dollars, guys. Return on investment. You have invested $1 million. You wanted to really earn $2 million every month on top of it. Return on investment is the goal of data warehouse. That is what is important. The data warehouse must make an organization information easily accessible. Only then you can make smart decisions. A data warehouse must present the organization information consistently. Without consistency, everything goes wrong. If you wanted to do a small curry, a biryani, or a chicken curry, everything should be consistent. You should have optimum spice, optimum salt. The chicken should have proper texture. In the same way, the data warehouse. The information should be consistent to build a proper data warehouse. The data warehouse must be adaptive and resilient to the changes, which means, let us say you go to a nice restaurant, they will serve you a soup and say you add your salt and pepper. So it must be adaptive. You can't really add everything and keep it ready and give it to them, and they want to make a small change. They can't reduce, they can't dig the soup and take out the salt or the spice. So it should be adaptive and resilient to the changes. Data warehouse must be secure bastion that protects our information asset, which means your single family home lacks security, guys. You have to build a security system around it, or else people can loot you. Apartment home, they have secured cameras and Gurkha will be going around it and you feel more secure. Single family home, you need to build your own security, which means I'm trying to compare with an application which is already been built and sold. Like PeopleSoft sells an application. It already would have taken care of the security. SAP sells an application. Salesforce sells an application. Security is already in there, which is kind of an apartment home. Single family home, data warehouse is your own. You are the one who is building it. Business is the one which owns it. So you need to keep your information secure. The data warehouse must serve as a foundation for improved decision making. That is most important for anyone in the world. Why are we building the data warehouse? It should lay down a foundation for us to make our decisions. A business community must accept data warehouse if it is to be deemed successful. So if the business people say, no, this is not a right model, which means in a single family home, your wife should accept, your mother should accept to live there. They should feel comfortable. If they say, there is no air here, no air circulation, no sunlight, the exhaust fans are not working, you'll feel really uncomfortable. In the same way, the data warehouse business community has to feel that they have enough information that you could provide out of it, that they could use the information for improvement of the business. How do I understand your customer? Before we go here, first let me check with one of you guys at least. Does the concept make sense and you're able to understand? Because I'm trying to put a flavor around, or else the data warehouse class itself has to go for like 40 hours. So I'm trying to make it really short and sweet so that you guys can relate and understand, okay, this is the purpose of the warehouse and this is how we have to understand it. So let me check with you. Whatever the pace we are going at and whatever the concept I am talking, does they relate to each other and you are able to understand?
Ganpati, I have a question.
Go ahead.
How are the data warehouse requirements driven? So let's say when we decide to implement a data warehouse, okay, is it driven based on the requirement, or we first load the data and then we derive the requirement from that? So how do you model your data warehouse?
Okay, very good question. I was expecting one of you would have to ask this question. You see, you're moving into a single family home from a one-bedroom apartment. You would have to move only that is required for you. You will not move everything and then go and say, I don't want this couch, it is not in a good shape, let me throw it out. And let us say now 5 families are relocating into the same home. Your brother's family, your parents, your in-laws, everyone wants to live together like in our Telugu movie or any Indian film. So when they are moving, if they start getting their own couch, if they start getting their own refrigerator, if they start getting every of the belongings that have into the single family home, can we fit it there and will it be useful? The answer is a straight no. A single family home can have only one refrigerator. They can have a mini refrigerator if they want in their personal bedroom to store their beers. Or you can also put it in a different way. First, the requirements are important. Only then you can buy more furniture. So if you don't have more people living there, why do you want to fill every room with a bed, with a couch, with a refrigerator, a bathroom with all the appliances? Why do you want a kitchen with all the appliances? You don't require. So in the same way, if you look at data warehouse, it is all business driven. Business will make a decision saying, I want this particular report. And the analyst will go and see, where can I get data for this particular report? And then the architect will come into picture, how can I get this data into the report? And then after he says, this is how you have to get, developer will come into picture, or a lead will come in, let me plan how I can move. Can I move one by one or all at a time? Because there is certain limit and capacity, like when you want to relocate your U-Haul or whatever the truck you are using, it has a limited capacity. Though everyone wants everything at one shot, it cannot deliver. So you are the one who will decide saying, okay, let me move chunk by chunk. Let me make 4 rounds. Let me plan for it. How to fit it. You can't put everything in one truck and then send. After all, you have some gold and diamonds. You can't ask the truck guy to take it and then put in there. So it is all requirement driven. The entire data warehouse. Now, how to understand your customer is the next slide, where you will see how a data warehouse approach comes into picture. So that is a good question, but did you get a right answer, Arvind?
Yes, I got it. I have, so you have a requirement and you build your data warehouse, okay?
That's correct.
Later on, they change the requirement. Let's say they add something else, okay? And based on which your data warehouse is not meeting that expectations. Do you go back and remodel your data warehouse?
There are, see, the architect is the person, as I mentioned even in my first basic introduction, why this performance and all issues come up as business will say, we have only 1,000 customers, can you move that? But if you go and look at it, there will be millions of customers, but they are inactive. Now business will first say, I want only active customers. Later they come and say, can you get also the inactive customers? Sometimes he can come back and say, I am your customer. I don't have his data. So the architect actually, how they plan is, if business says we are going to have 1 gigabytes of data, he will plan for 100 gigabytes. And that is where the modeling is required. Though business says, I don't really require a time-based report or a product-based report. All I need is a customer-based report. The architect, from his experience, he knows, okay, after the business looks into a customer-based report, he will say, can you go and give me the same customer list by region? Then there is a big question mark. I don't have the regional information in my data warehouse. What should I do? So it is the architect who has to do that. He has to plan
the data warehouse first. We need to consider all those into place, right? I mean, it shouldn't be like, we should think it as a future, like where we can satisfy all the requirements, correct?
That is correct. So there are two approaches that we go with in a data warehouse. One is called as data-driven approach. The other is called as user-driven approach. So you talk to the business person, he will give you saying, I want a report that can show all the products and how much it is being sold in each area. That is a single statement he gave. But to get that, you need product, you need time, you need the market, you need the customer information, and also the items. So you will plan accordingly. Then finally he comes back and say, oh no, I told first I told it, get it by each state, but now I want it by each town, each city. Then you are in a tough situation. So an architect has to plan. You have to define the grain of the data. You will have to see the capacity. And you know one other thing, data warehouse, so we don't build an enterprise data warehouse directly. We build data marts and then connect them together to make it a data warehouse. So you'd see in my next slide how we go for it. The same question is being answered in the next two slides. What is the approach that we can build a data warehouse? Okay, Arvind, that's a good one to answer. So any other questions so far, guys? Okay. Silence is violent. Someone please speak up. You know, when you stay silent, it is a little bit annoying for me whether people are able to understand me, or do I need to slow down? Do I need to, spend more time? So one of you please let me know. If we are in the same pace, we can continue, and we will take a break in another 5 minutes.
It's good, yeah. Like so far it's good, like whatever you said with the real world scenario, you're able to understand.
Wonderful. So we'll run couple of slides, and at 8:30 we take a short break, restroom break, and we catch up back. So every 1 hour or 1.5 hours, whenever you have a requirement, whenever I have a requirement, we have right to express when we take a break. So how to understand your customer? That is the important thing for you to build a data warehouse. As I mentioned, when you want to relocate from one home to other home, first thing is, for sure anyone will talk to your wife or your mother. They will give you the information. And now you will say the packers and movers guy is going to appear here. Tell him the list of items that he has to pack and move. Your wife and your mother will say, no, we don't have many items. It is only one couch, one table, one fridge, that's all. Then you will not believe in them, right? You will go around and the packers and movers guy will come into each room and see, okay, you told one couch, but it's a 5-seater couch. You told them one bed, but this bed is a very, very huge one. I need 4 people. I need enough truck. Then they will say, I don't have any other items in the storage. I can get it in my own car trunk. No way. That is not going to work. So he will go into each room and see what are the items there. So that is called as a data-driven approach. Users will be very optimistic. They will say our source systems are really clean. We have only useful data. They don't know that databases doesn't work like that. Database is like your storage place. It stores all the junk in it. No one wants to throw away unless they determine it is going to be 100% useless. So let us try to understand the customer. Understand your users by business area, job responsibilities, and computer tolerance. You have to understand all this because you're working with computers and you're talking about data, but not everyone is aware of an RDBMS. You can't talk to a business person in the technical terms. I'm going to build a table for you. In that there are 20 columns. In each column, this is the data type. Business user cannot understand. So you have to make a right question for him to get a right response or an answer from him. So determine the decisions the business user wants to make with the help of data warehouse. That is what is the first important thing. Talk to your wife, talk to your father, talk to your kid. Understand their requirements. Your kid will say, I want my walls to be painted blue color. I am a guy and I want my floor like this. And your mother says, I want a room that can get directly sunlight at morning 6 o'clock. And your wife will say, I want a nice ventilated room where I can look through the balcony into the swimming pool. So it is the same thing here. Determine the decisions that the business users want to make with the help of data warehouse. So compare your single family always with the data warehouse and feel all of them who are going to live in your single family home or your business customers. In the data warehouse world, they are the customers. So identify the best user who can make effective, high impact decisions using the data warehouse. So that is what is important. Who is the decision maker there? You are the one who is going to decide because you are the one who will lay out a budget, a plan, when to move, how to access. Everything has to be a very important decision. So you have to identify the decision making person. When you have a trouble saying whether I want to go for 3 bedrooms with a 2-car garage or a 4-bedroom with a 1-car garage, you are the one who has to make the decision. You put everything before the customer. So find potential new users and make them aware of the data warehouse, which means you have your in-laws entering the home. You are the one who has to tell what is what, where is what. You have a hot shower. They don't know about it. If someone turns accidentally, they are going to be burnt. In the same way, when people directly have access to the data warehouse, tell them what is important, how to access it, what not to project it. If you have the tax information, your SSN number, your tax ID number, your PAN card number, you don't want to be exposed to everyone. So you need to understand the users and say what kind of access they should have, what kind of confidentiality they should maintain with data. Choose the most effective, actionable subset of data to present in the data warehouse, drawn from the vast universe of possible data in your organization. So you are going to get only a stipulated amount of data. You are not going to get everything to put into the data warehouse. After all, data warehouse is for decision making purpose. It is not going to be for the customer purpose. So the easiest way to understand, guys, go to an ICICI Bank ATM or a Bank of America ATM, put your credit card or debit card, withdraw some money. It will give you a small mini statement if at all you want. It has the last 1 month or 6 months of transactional history. Where are you getting that from? Someone can you try to answer my question? Where are we getting that mini statement for the last 6 months of transactions that you made?
From a data mart.
The answer is no. Anyone else can try. From the bank database, yes. From the bank database, that is true. But what kind of a database? It is called as an online transaction processing system, which is an OLTP system. The reason you see in the ATM, it can give you only the last 10 or 15 transactions, not more than that. It cannot store the entire history of you from the day one you open your account. But now, you want for some other purpose, the last 2-year statement. What are you going to do? You will drop by the bank and ask them, I want my statement starting from 2010 till date. If at all they have the data there available lively, they can print it out and give you. But not all the banks does that. They'll say, you have to raise a request for our customer care. They will send it to you over the mail or email by 7 days. What is happening there? They are going into some storage location to get out the data. They will not have everything online for them because they have millions of customers. They can't maintain millions of transactions. If they maintain it, they cannot retrieve the data as if it is required, and actually the performance will really go down. Then everyone has to go into an ATM, put their card, wait for 20 minutes to withdraw $100. If at all they wanted that kind of data from that system, so they will go into.
Like, question is like, so if the data is over the years, the data might increase. So like, is it like they will cut down on the data, or is it like ever expanding or something like that? The warehouse.
Yeah, warehouse is an ever expanding thing. But then in warehouse, what they will try to do is they will try to limit. But first we are talking about OLTP system. Data warehouse also will put a limit saying, okay, we keep only the last 10 years of data. Before that, I don't require much. It depends upon which industry, which business they are into.
Okay. Okay.
But in the OLTP system, you will still keep all the customer data. If you are a very technical person, you will understand what an what is that particular one? It flipped out of my mind. When you go and online, you are trying to enter into your online internet banking account. There will be an LDAP. LDAP will be the one which will verify your username and password. It will not really go into the original database to do that. An LDAP server is something like a Java-based server. It is like on the web. First, it will try to, it is like the key to enter your home. You will not really allow a person to come until the bedroom if he doesn't have access to the hall. So the key is they will have put an LDAP server, which will first allow them only to a certain point. Depending upon your profile, it will allow you some more deep inside. But the important point I am trying to make here is, you cannot really store volumes of data in one database. There is a limitation. So they keep pushing the data to a backend and preserve it there. Still we will have access. Right now, go and check your Bank of America account. It can give you only the last 12 month statement. It cannot go beyond that. Then you have to call customer care. They will go and retrieve the data they will have in it. And the other catch, the important thing you will have to understand is, this is the data only for the customer. If the business wants to make a decision, they are not going to touch the OLTP system, because if they run a query saying, get me all the accounts that are in United States, in each county, each bank, if you want one report, it is going to run for 10 days. Trust me, it is going to run for 10 days and all the systems will hang. Because it is an OLTP system. It is built for the customer purpose. It can answer very standard requirements. It cannot really answer every business question. So it will build a data warehouse, which is a separate thing for them. They can access the data in the way they want. It is summarized data. The data model is different in a data warehouse. You get me there? Any other questions, guys?
Ganapati, I have a question. So let's say, considering your scenario, okay, you say that customer goes to an ATM and he queries, and it is going to give him the statement for last 1 week, okay? Mm-hmm. And the other scenario is, let's say the customer goes to the bank and he can get the transactions he did for last 1 year, okay?
Yes.
So you are saying the one that does through ATM is an OLTP, okay, which is an online, and they query, they write a query and they get the data what they did for last 1 week or 10 days, whatever it is.
Correct.
Whereas their other one would be like, so you are saying the first scenario where the customer goes to ATM, mm-hmm. that would be like a system querying a database, whereas the other one would be system querying a data warehouse.
Okay, there is a small caveat there. the bank teller will also query the same OLTP system, but he has better access than that you have in an ATM. It is the same OLTP system because it has all the transactional data. But if you ask for some information which is 10 years back, you will say 10 years back I have deposited 1 lakh in this account and I see there is a statement difference. He cannot really give you data from last 10 years. So he will put a request to the back end, do we have the same data in the data warehouse? Yes, it can be there. You get
it's like an history data. So we store the history data, like let's say after 1 month, whatever transaction that is more than 1 month, they might move it to data warehousing.
No, every day they move the data to the data warehouse, but the purpose of the data in the data warehouse is a little bit different than the OLTP system. In the OLTP system, they will have certain amount of the data. For example, the last 1 year data. Okay.
So you
because
use sorry. Yeah.
Go for it.
So my question was, so probably I should say the data in data warehouse is used for reporting, planning, forecasting, something like that, to analyze the data, right? To analyze or to get the data, old data. Whereas the transaction data, like online, like a day-to-day activity, you don't need to go there, correct?
Perfectly. Your understanding is 100% correct. At the end of the session, you would see how we build this data warehouse with a data model. Then you will understand which report comes from which place.
So one more question is, in the OLTP system, the only you are going to put what kind of data, like only the transactional data, and the rest of the data you are going storing it somewhere else, or all the type of data you are storing it for 2 years for last
everything in one place. Everything in one place. An OLTP system is totally into the relative world. It will be in the 3rd or 4th or 5th normal form, which means you will have different tables, like the customer name is stored in one table, whereas his balance is stored in other table. That is
so
but
all
they
kinds
are
of data is present. So customer data, transactional data, and his transactions and everything is present. Okay, that's my question.
Yes, everything is there in the source system, customer to customer. Each customer you have there, and each transaction, though they don't maintain the customer name there, they will maintain it by the account number or the customer ID.
Okay.
Okay. So that you will understand if you look at the database model, which is the 3rd normal form, what is the 4th normal form, then you will understand what kind of data, how they normalize the database. It is exactly called normalization. So they will put the data in the 3rd or 4th normal form. Okay. And then make the user interfaces and applications simple and template driven, explicitly matching to the user cognitive process. Was there some question? No. Was some noise. So make sure the data is accurate and can be trusted, labeling it consistently across organization. I mean, this is all how we understand the customer. If you don't get proper faith from the customer, they don't believe in your data. You will have to prove that your data is right. So you have to be proactively putting some predefined reports and say the reports are going to look like this. You can analyze. So you will have to label it as a trusted and consistent across the enterprise. Continuously monitor the accuracy of data and the content of delivered reports, which means, see, you are delivering the reports every day, so they should be very accurate. Today you are saying that you have 1,000 customers. Tomorrow you are saying you have 2,000 customers. There can be a drastic growth in the customer overnight, but the business will not believe, because they don't really go with the normal reports. They have their own statistics. I know every day there will be only new customers is 10. Suddenly you are showing 1,000 customers overnight. How come this happened? What has happened in the database? So you will have to be very consistent and accurate. Search for new data sources and continuously adapt the data warehouse to change data profiles, reporting requirements, and business priorities. which means you can't move all the data at a time into the data warehouse. Prioritize it. First, you will have to move into your single family home. After you are comfortable, you'll say, brother, you can come. After your brother comes in, you'll ask, okay, parents, now you can come. It's your turn. Then in-laws, you can come. Then friends, now is the party. You can come. Let us party. It's like that. You have to make it step by step. Take a proportion of credit for business decision made using the data warehouse and use these successes to justify your staffing, software, and hardware expenditure. So any business, they treat IT as an expense. IT is not actually an expense. It is actually their business. It is the investment. It is the capital. It is never going to be an expense. But they feel it as an expense. But so you take the credit, show the business what you are trying to give and what they are getting back from that. So publish the data on a regular basis. Every day they need to have access so that they get used to it. If not, they are not going to use your data warehouse, and one day they may scrap it. So you understand the customer. Maintain the trust of business users. If they lose confidence, your data warehouse is going to be shut down. Keep your business users, executive sponsors, and boss very happy. That is what is very important for us to continue in long term on a project. You need to get that the confidence from that. Okay, now comes the data warehouse architecture. But let us take a break and have a Kit Kat. That's up to you. Go for a coffee anytime, like 10 minutes. We'll be back and then we'll look at the data.